Tuesday, the 27th of January. I'm Herb Stevens, the skiing weatherman for SnoCountry.com, and this report, for those of you interested in skiing and riding in the western half of the country, is brought to you by UVEX Sports. You need goggles, you need helmets, their stuff's the best. Check them out. The headlines: can we catch a break? And how about a pattern change? Because the upper level jet stream configuration that's been driving the pattern much of the last several weeks is really the key to the future. We need a change in order to get substantial amounts of snow to substantial numbers of ski areas in the western part of the country. It is quiet in the west. These gray splotches you see up here are indicative of inversions. These are fog advisories. There's really not much going on right now unless you live in the Northeast, where there's a blizzard in progress today as I put this report together. But out west, again, there's some fog in the valleys to the west, and in the northwest, some high winds around Cheyenne, downsloping high winds there, and not much else to be concerned with in terms of sensible weather. Today's jet stream map shows the crux of the issue. The trough is in the east, and a ridge has been dominating in the west. Now, you notice this little dent to the west. A little bit of snow came through the Sierra this morning as this feature tried to move into the ridge position, but that's sort of like a scatback trying to mess with a nose tackle. The nose tackle is going to repel the scatback if they connect with one another. It's not like this thing can put a fake on the nose tackle. They have collided, and the nose tackle is going to win. But if we look at the satellite picture, you can see there's some cloudiness associated with that wave, that short wave trough over Nevada and parts of the Wasatch, and I think we'll see a little bit of snow coming up later this week as this system sort of meanders around and actually starts to sink to the south and hooks up with some southern stream energy, so that by Friday morning we'll have a trough over the southwest and there will be some snow in the mountains. And right now it looks as though the snow will be confined to the higher elevations, say above probably 7,500 feet down here in the southern Rockies, because this is not a storm of North Pacific origin. It's got actually a bit of a tropical connection, and that does not spell good things in terms of the snow levels. By Saturday morning, low pressure over western Arizona. There will be some snow falling in the Wasatch, in the mountains of southern Utah, the central Rockies, maybe up to Route 70. The southern Rockies down toward Durango and Wolf Creek Pass, Taos, they should make out the best from this. It doesn't look like a whopper of a storm, but there will be moderate snow falling down here in the Four Corners region, again with the snow levels a little bit on the high side, probably north of 7,000 feet. In addition, there'll be a little bit of weak wave activity coming over the ridge into the northwest over the weekend, but here again, those snow levels are going to be the devil, somewhere up around 6,500 to 7,000 feet, so there may be some rain in the lower elevations. But let's go ahead to Tuesday, and the system that you see Saturday over the southwest, it's going to kind of drop down into northern Mexico, and get a shot in the rear end from some southern stream energy, and this could produce some snow over the southern Rockies again coming up Tuesday into Wednesday. Now, in addition to that, a very weak system, I think, is going to crest the ridge and come down in a fashion sort of like that, from the Bitterroots down through the Tetons and into the northern Rockies Tuesday into Wednesday, and that will produce some light snow again. It doesn't look like a particularly powerhouse system at all, but that's the best we can do right now. This ridge just won't relent, and unfortunately it results in difficulties getting big storms in from the Pacific, high snow levels, and also spring conditions in the lower elevations in many of the resorts of the western United States. Over the next 5 days, this is kind of the way the snowfall breaks down. Again, the lion's share of it will fall here in the southern Rockies. New Mexico's looking pretty good in this pattern once you get above that snow level. And then notice up here in the northern Rockies, at 7 days, there's a suggestion that a system will come over the top of the ridge and perhaps bring some snow to Big Sky in the Montana resorts in western Montana, northern Idaho, and perhaps down into the Tetons. But that's about the best we can do in the next 7 days. 10 days from now, according to the Canadian ensembles, we still have the same setup, western ridge, eastern trough. That is not good. At 15 days, no real changes are in sight. The things I look at for longer range forecast, the Southern Oscillation Index, for example, suggests the eastern trough is going to dominate. The warm waters along the west coast favor the ridge, and the complementary feature to that is the eastern trough. which is expected to dominate, and we're just going to have to wait at least a couple of weeks before we can change this pattern. So in summary, the Western Ridge Eastern Trough setup, it's not going anywhere. There will be some southern stream energy producing some snow in the southern Rockies late this week, and again, probably the middle of next week, and that snow may make it up to about Interstate 70 when it combines with a bit of energy coming down in the northern stream, which could produce some light snow, as I say, from the Bitterroots down through the Tetons into the northern Rockies. But overall, there is no major pattern change in sight. Next report's coming up next week. I'm Herb Stevens, the skiing weatherman for SnoCountry.com. Remember, if you need goggles or a helmet, go to uvex-sports.com. Take care.